typically, after a Thursday night football game, I would come on here and give you my thoughts on the game, analysis, a breakdown. But tonight, I feel something different is needed. I feel that a rant is needed. I think Eagles fans need me to say what I'm about to say. I've been telling you guys that the Philadelphia Eagles have not played well all season. That the Eagles were outgained in every single game they played. That they were exposed by the Denver Broncos. That they barely survived against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If not for some special teams flukes against the Bucs and Rams, they should have lost both games. If not for the old man Travis Kelce dropping the ball in the end zone, they probably lose to a depleted Chiefs. And if CeeDee Lamb doesn't have the worst, most inconsistent game of his career and Miles Sanders fumbles the ball in the red zone, they probably lose the Cowboys too. The Eagles have been barely getting by. And tonight, they were exposed. I can't believe I didn't listen to myself. I was buying into the narrative. The Eagles win close games. They find ways to win. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Yeah! No. There are big issues with this Eagles team, on and off the field. And it's time to express my opinion. The Eagles are clearly not a very good football team. What we saw tonight is not an example of a letdown game. It's not an example of a slip-up. This is an example of an avalanche. That's what it's an example of. All the problems, all the inner steam and fire building up within the locker room, the tension within this franchise, it's being exposed. A.J. Brown asking for a trade, Devontae Smith frustration, Saquon Barkley not putting up the numbers. Everybody pointing fingers. The Philadelphia Eagles are not a good football team. And it starts with the coaching. Nick Sirianni, what are you doing? Nick, I gave you the benefit of the doubt last year. You led your team to a Super Bowl victory. And you seem to have this culture and this team believing in itself, its identity. What is this team's identity? Because it's no longer running the football. They can't do that. It's no longer playing good defense. They can't do that either. Your identity is based on a rugby play? Is that what you're trying to tell me? The tush push is your identity, Nick? Really? Really? You have a loaded offensive roster. You can't score 20 points against the Giants? You have the best defense in football from last season. You can't stop Jordan Humphrey? Little Jordan Humphrey? He's not even big Jordan Humphrey. He's little Jordan Humphrey. Come on, bro. Man, I didn't realize this team would miss Kellen Moore this much. I thought they would miss Kellen Moore, but I thought they would miss Kellen Moore against the Lions or the Rams or the Bucs or the Niners in the playoffs. They've missed Kellen Moore all year. Their play calling is terrible. Their sequencing of their play calls is atrocious. They're so simple and vanilla. And I'll say it because I don't think anyone else wants to say it. It starts with Nick Sirianni, but it's not too far off from Jalen Hurts. I know that a lot of Eagles fans don't want to believe this, but a lot of the problems in Philadelphia begin and end with Jalen Hurts. He's the Super Bowl MVP. He's the, shucks, leader of the team. The cheesy quote machine. But there's a reason that offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator comes into Philadelphia and they show very little innovation, very little expanding of what the Eagles are offensively. It's because Jalen Hurts wants a certain playbook. He wants a certain style of play. He wants certain plays to be ran. He can only function within that system and scheme, which is ultimately the definition of a system quarterback. You may argue, well, he does it with different coordinators. But guys, it's literally the same offense every year. It's the same 6 plays that they've been running since 2022. And without any sort of invention, any sort of teaching from Kellen Moore or Shane Steichen, this offense has gone straight downhill. So if Jalen Hurts does not have a literal head coach as his offensive coordinator, if Nick Sirianni doesn't have a head coach leading his offense, they're lost. They can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. They're too vanilla. They're too inconsistent. They're too predictable. The predictable Philadelphia Eagles. It begins with the 2 guys that are at the heart and center of this team, Hurts and Sirianni. Sirianni, control the personality. Sirianni, control the culture. Control the narrative. You haven't done that. You're an offensive coach. What are you doing about it? You're supposedly an offensive guy. Jalen Hurts, you might need to be able to expand your brain a smidge. Maybe look outside the box. And the thing I've been saying about Hurts is this guy literally plays the position different from everybody else. He has 5 to 6 seconds of play to throw the ball. He holds the ball longer than anyone in the league. He's afforded a luxury that no one else is allowed to play by that style, or else they would be sacked 50 times a game. He has 2 Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber receivers, an all-pro running back, a Pro Bowl tight end, multi-time all-pro tackles. The Eagles have all of the talent around Hurts. And yet, they fit themselves into this small little hole of what their offense is because their quarterback is so limited in what he can be and what he wants to do. Their play calling tonight sucked. I thought it couldn't get any worse on a Thursday because I figured like they already only run like 7 plays. So how much worse could it get? Meanwhile, the Giants are running quarterback run game, play action, boots for their quarterback, downfield concepts. Jaxson Dart is commanding a full NFL offense. He's a rookie. And not a smart one either. Jalen Hurts can run 5 fucking plays. I don't know when the Eagles are going to figure it out, but they can't run the ball either. So running the ball on first and second down for negative yards is not exactly the approach anymore. I'm glad the Eagles got beat down tonight. I'm glad the Giants stomped them, punished them. Because Philly is boring to watch. For them to be the embodiment of the best team in football is just not what I want. They're not creative. They're not fun. They're not schematically different and diverse. I like football to be like chess on grass. That's why I love Kyle Shanahan. That's why I love Bill Belichick. That's why I appreciate Sean Payton and Sean McVay. That's why I enjoy watching those teams and those schemes. Nobody likes watching the Eagles. Sure, it was fun to watch Saquon run for 80-yard touchdowns, but Saquon is cursed by Madden. So that's not coming back anytime soon. The offensive line has clearly regressed. Lane Johnson's old. Mailata hasn't played well. I don't think so. I mean, Brian Burns whooped his ass like 4 different times in this game. Landon Dickerson's injured. They miss Mekhi Becton big time. The receiving talent deserves better. Imagine what Devontae Smith could be doing on the Chiefs or the Bills. Imagine what A.J. Brown would do on the Patriots, where he probably wants to play. It's sad to watch this offense. It's sad to watch Jalen Hurts play football. He's unwatchable. He takes the snap. He waits for 10 seconds. Then he scrambles to the right and completes a 7-yard pass. Nobody wants to watch that shit. Defensively tonight, they were atrocious. Unwatchable. Staggeringly bad. I don't know what the Eagles are doing, but for them to employ Kelly Ringo should be a finable offense. You should go to jail in 35 states for employing Ringo as a cornerback in the NFL. That guy is atrocious. Jaxson Dart literally just looked where he was on the field and threw to the guy that was covering him. It didn't even matter if it was a practice squad receiver, little Jordan Humphrey. He still threw him the ball. Guys, you've got to understand, the Giants scored 34 points tonight. They didn't have Malik Neighbors. They didn't have Darius Slayton. Their receivers tonight were Jalen Hyatt, who hasn't done shit in the NFL, Wan'Dale Robinson, who is a poor man's Golden Tate, and little Jordan Humphrey. Their tight ends are pedestrian. I think there's multiple teams who have 2 tight ends that are better than the Giants' 1 or 2 tight ends. I could probably list like 5 teams. The Patriots, the Ravens, the Chiefs. There are multiple teams that have better tight ends than the Giants. Starter. They have Cam Skattebo. Like, are you guys kidding me? You let Jaxson Dart shred you up and down the field? And the stats don't even do it justice. 195 yards. This guy was dicing you on 3rd down. Skattebo, 19 for 98, 3 touchdowns. That's embarrassing. Dart had 58 yards rushing. They couldn't contain the guy in the damn pocket. The Giants had 25 first downs. They were 11 for 16 on 3rd down, plus the penalties. Guys, this was an unbelievable game to watch. The Eagles were 1 for 9 on third down. The Giants were 11 for 16. This is a fireable offense for the Eagles coaching staff. To get this outplayed with your talent against this team, round of applause to Brian Daboll. Great job by the Giants, specifically offensively. Vic Fangio got outcoached. He just kept blitzing. Blitz, 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 blitz. They have no pass rush without blitzing. That's why they have to blitz. And they have no corners. Quinyon Mitchell got injured. That crucified them. The Eagles were atrocious on defense in this game. The only time they made stops was when the Giants made a mistake or when Jaxson Dart got injured and Russell Wilson had to enter the game. What a joke, dude. This is genuinely one of the most surprising games I've ever witnessed. Because on paper, the Giants have no business moving the ball in this game. No business scoring points. I don't care if Jalen Carter's playing or not. No business. Meanwhile, the Eagles, with their receiving core, to be running the ball for negative yards on early downs is a fucking joke. It's a travesty. You wonder why people hate on Jalen Hurts. You wonder why people hate on Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. This should look way better than it does. This game should be the reverse, 34-17 Philly. And even if it was, it probably wouldn't look pretty. Because the Eagles are an ugly watch every time. Every time. It's time to blame the quarterback a little bit. There's a reason why people don't put him in the top 10 when he wins the Super Bowl. Because for the rest of the year, he played like shit. He throws 2-yard passes. He gets his ass pushed into the end zone. Saquon's cursed. A.J. Brown's a crybaby. Devontae Smith, has he ever said a word? Nick Sirianni. This is the problem with the Eagles, is his personality sets the tone. He's a crybaby. You see his facial expressions? Whenever they're losing, whenever they're down, they're front runners, bro. They're front runners. Defensively, I have never seen a worse performance than what I saw from Ringo. That was disgusting. Adoree Jackson is washed. That pick Jalen Hurts throw was a travesty. What a joke. Honestly. I never saw this game coming at all. I lost money on the Eagles tonight. I'm honestly not even mad because I should have seen this coming. I'm going to take the punch to the jaw and say, I don't know what I thought was going to happen. I've been saying this every week. The Eagles aren't good. You feel kind of like you have to rank them a certain spot because they're the Super Bowl champs and they're 4-1 somehow. But they really easily could be 2-4. They could be 1-5. They fluked the game against the Rams. They kind of fluked against the Bucs. They survived Dallas. This team is... Guys, I'm not just making this for the headlines. They're in trouble. The Eagles are in trouble. This is not a good team. Not a good team. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. honestly. What I just saw from them is all the worst elements of what we've seen already this year in one game. Sure, they'll get healthier. They have to play Brian Flores next week in Minnesota. They play the Giants again, who just handed them their ass. They play in Green Bay. That's a loss on Monday night. The Lions, that's a loss. At Dallas, that could be a loss. They play Ben Johnson. That's not going to be easy. They play at the Chargers. You certainly have the worst quarterback there. They should beat the Raiders. But then you play at Washington, at Buffalo. That's a loss. That could be 2 losses in a row. And then Washington again. This team might win like 7 games. I'm not exaggerating. I know they're 4-2. I know they're the Super Bowl champs. I know they were nearly unbeatable last year. This isn't the same team. They can't rush the quarterback. They can't cover anyone. They struggle against the run. Their quarterback is an idiot. They can't run the ball. Their receivers want to get traded. Their coach is a crybaby. What am I missing? Maybe I'm overreacting, but from what I saw in this game, how could I be overreacting? Little Jordan Humphrey just mossed you. Wan'Dale Robinson looked like Wes Welker. Jaxson Dart looked like prime Eli. And what was most concerning is you guys looked slow on defense. You looked old on defense. You looked like you couldn't hang one-on-one physically for the first time in forever. It looked like 2023. It could be 2023 again for this team. Again. It might just be happening earlier. You can't keep getting away with running 5 plays. It simply can't happen. They need to make adjustments. They need to change personnel. They need to make a trade. They need to do something. They need to do something desperate because this team is in trouble. They were horrible tonight. No passion, mistake after mistake, special teams botches, bad interceptions, can't contain the quarterback, can't cover. What a joke. Congratulations to Giants fans, but I had to make this video about the Eagles because I've been seeing this coming. I just couldn't really put it into words. And now that we've seen it, it's 100% needed to be said. There it is, guys, my thoughts on the Eagles. Wow.